All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling a really powerful idea, one that kind of flips the script on how we think about building healthier communities. It's the simple truth. We all play a role.
For so long, when we talked about preventing fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, or FASD, the lens was, well, super narrow. The whole conversation and all that immense pressure, it usually landed on just one person.
But what if that view isn't just incomplete, but actually harmful? The source material for today's explainer puts it this bluntly, and it's a statement that's really meant to make all of us stop and think. It's a direct challenge to an old way of thinking, pushing us to see this in a totally new light. Okay, so let's start right there. Let's talk about this heavy burden and why it's so unfairly placed.
I mean, think about it, right? When you frame a huge public health issue as one person's solo mission, you don't create support, you just create a ton of pressure. Instead of a safety net, you end up building a wall of isolation. It leads to stigma, to shame, to fear, which makes it almost impossible for someone to actually ask for help. Bottom line, that approach just doesn't work.
And that brings us to the real heart of this explainer. It's about making a huge shift, moving away from that lonely, isolated view to a collective one, a shift to what our source calls a shared responsibility. So what does shared responsibility even mean? Well, it's the understanding that the health and well-being of the next generation, that's not some private job. It's a public trust. It's the belief that the entire community, that means every single one of us, has a part to play in creating an environment where the healthiest choices are the easiest choices. It's all about support, not blame. That's the key. Okay, let's dive into this. If prevention is a team sport, then who exactly is on the team? The answer might surprise you. It's not just a few experts. It's pretty much everyone.
It's the aunt's job, being that source of encouragement and understanding at family get-togethers.
It's the neighbors who can help build a community where offering a non-alcoholic drink is just normal. Of course, it's the doctor's job to provide clear, non-judgmental information and create a safe space for questions.
And it's the teacher's job who can educate the next generation and build awareness from a young age.
And, so crucially, it's the friend's job to be an ally, to plan fun stuff that's inclusive, to just be that person someone can count on. You see, the prevention team, it's just us. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds huge. But here's the beautiful thing about shared responsibility. Your part doesn't have to be massive to matter. In fact, it's the really simple, small actions that end up making the biggest waves. And when I say simple, I mean really simple. We're talking about just one gentle reminder, or tacking up one poster with helpful info in a community space, or just starting one single, open, supportive conversation. These are not grand gestures. They're small things that anyone can do. And get this, just one of those things, one reminder, one poster, one chat, that single action has the potential to prevent a lifelong disorder. Seriously. The ripple effect from one tiny moment of support it's massive. It can literally change a life forever. Let that sink in for a second. That's an incredibly powerful thought.
So this all brings us to a pretty simple conclusion, really. The big takeaway here isn't that one person has to carry this enormous weight. It's that old saying, right? Many hands make light work. Every single voice, every action, it all counts.
In fact, the source material boils this entire philosophy down into just 5 powerful words. It's not about pointing fingers, it's about joining hands. It's a call to action for the aunts, the neighbors, the doctors, the teachers, the friends, for all of us.
So as we wrap this up, the question really turns back to you. In this whole web of support where we all have a part, what role will you play? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.